gathered here today because Bradley Manning stood up for the truth. He is the most free among all of us. He is not the one on trial. The United States of America is on trial today. Our reputation and what our country stands for. The soldiers' creed, the creed and the code of conduct that we learn. I am an American soldier. Bradley Manning stood up as an American soldier, raised his right hand, put himself in harm's way, deployed to Iraq because he loves this country. One day we will see among us who fight for truth, who fight for transparency, that no matter what the president wants to promise in a campaign, you should stand for transparency when you have the power to. So we call upon the president. Mr. President, if you believe in transparency, then meet us at this gate. Open this gate, Mr. President. Mr. Obama, tear down this wall. You have erected a wall of separation between the American people and the American truth. Tear down this wall. You have built up a wall that does not protect, but makes us a target in the eyes of the world. You have ruined our reputation by hiding behind a wall that protects nobody. Tear down this wall. You have built up this wall and it has made a mockery of everything that we stand for, truth and justice. When truth and justice are in jeopardy, it is the job of the soldier to stand up and to fight for a peace that transcends. And as we fight for a lasting peace, we will make true. We will make true the prophecy and it will come true. That day will come when we will beat our swords into plowshares, our spears into pruning hooks, when nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither will they study war anymore. And not only that, we're not going to stop there, but we will make true the prophecy of Isaiah. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the inheritance of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness comes from the Lord. You stand in courage, and we don't just stop there. The code of conduct, I am an American, fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I am prepared to give my life in their defense. I will never compromise my integrity or moral courage. I will never forget that I am an American fighting for freedom, responsible for my actions, and dedicated to the principles that made my country free. Bradley Manning did that, and he should be free. When we fight for that freedom, we realize that without truth, there can be no justice. Without justice, there can be no peace. And as we fight, we know that we will be successful. In the end, we will be on the high ground. We will know the truth. And just like Bradley Manning, in that pursuit, when we build ourselves up with courage, we will know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Thank you.
But what Bradley Manning was able to do was to see that there's a gradation of values here, okay? Is there value in keeping a promise on a piece of paper? Of course there is. Well, what about the value of stopping torture? What about the value of stopping people being killed? And I don't mean just Americans. Just because Iraqis and Afghans don't look a lot like us, there's, last time I checked the Bible, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, they're human beings too. Well, Bradley Manning saw that, okay? And what he saw, in particular, and most people forget this, was he saw young kids, university kids, who had written a critical term paper against the Maliki government. He saw them wrapped up and thrown into Baghdad prisons, which he knew were places of incredible torture, okay? Now, what were his instructions? Well, he didn't have any instructions. Nobody had any instructions. What did his conscience say? His conscience says this has got to stop. So he went to his superiors. This is what I saw. What should I do? Keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Do your tour and go home. He went back to his, I mean, I wasn't there, but I could, a man with a conscience has problems with those kinds of orders, right? Do we all have consciences? We do. Are we all going to go back to our barracks and say, well, all right, you know, but nobody else is saying anything? Well, most people do that, but Bradley Manning did not, okay? What did he do? Well, they found out some sort of other way to expose this. Now, would he go to the ABC or CBS or CNN reporter on the scene? Give me a break. Those people have been on leave for 2 decades, okay? We don't have a fourth estate anymore, with all due respect to any here. And what Bradley Manning knew instinctively was there's a fifth estate. And where is it?
The internet. Wikileaks.
Careful of that predator up there. It's up here in the ether, okay? Can it be controlled? Well, they're trying, but I don't think they're going to be able to control it. And what Bradley saw was this is a way to get the message out.
The first day at Occupy Wall Street in New York, I carried a banner that said "Free Bradley Manning." And as I walked around, I got thumbs up, I got smiles, I got fists in the air. I got such a response from that banner. It was just amazing. Later that night, I took that banner over to Zuccotti Park and I slept on top of that banner. And Bradley Manning protected me from the cold of Zuccotti Park. When we went to the General Assembly in New York City to get money for a bus, quite a bit of money, to come down here for this rally, we made the proposal. And generally, when you make a proposal for that kind of money, there's a lot of discussion, argument. It can take a while. Within about 2 minutes, we had unanimous approval for the money to come down here. Bradley Manning is...
Bradley Manning is...
part of the 99%.
part of the 99%.
We will not stop.
We will not stop
Until Bradley Manning
until Bradley Manning
is on the street,
is on the street,
camping with us,
camping with us,
at an Occupy in this country.
And an Occupy in this country.
What was it? 6 months ago, we were out in the streets in front of Quantico to get the conditions changed, the pretrial conditions at that time, over a year that Bradley Manning had been in solitary confinement and forced nudity and things like that. And we got it changed. She's at Fort Leavenworth. And I've been in the court 2 days, yesterday and today, and we've seen Bradley in person. He's a slim guy. He's a thin guy. But he's a guy that has stood up under intense military pressure, trying to break him down. The retaliation, the retribution that the military is doing toward him, even though he hasn't been convicted of a thing. This pre-trial confinement that he has had, that even people in Abu Ghraib, Guantanamo, all of these prisons that tragically the United States has held citizens of other countries, now we're doing it to our own soldiers who've never been convicted of a damn thing. So what we're doing now as citizen activists is showing Bradley Manning and his family that's there and his legal team, who are so appreciative of us being out here. Very appreciative. Even a person of Wikileaks, Julian Assange. Remember old Julian? You know, he's under threat in England. Well, his attorneys are here right now sitting in this court-martial to see how the U.S. government is going after Bradley in order to form a defense should it be necessary for Julian. So it's so important what we're doing here. And if any of you all can be here tomorrow, the next day, we need to have people in that courtroom to show the solidarity. When Bradley walks into that court and he looks around and he sees friends wearing these shirts. He sees friends that he knows that they are there for him, that we demand a fair trial. That's what we're asking for. We want a fair trial. Produce the evidence, folks. Produce the evidence, U.S. government, on what this man did. If indeed he did disclose many of these documents that we've seen that detail criminal actions by the United States of America, then I say good for him. Good for him. Yeah. It's that criminal actions by our own government that we're concerned about. And when anybody becomes a whistleblower that says, I will stand up, I will fight the system to show what the system's doing in our name, by golly, he gets my support. Thank you.
Yeah! Bradley Manning is a gay American. He is a good soldier. The Don't Ask, Don't Tell was about letting good people be patriots. I'm a lifelong veteran of the anti-war movement. I did not serve in the government. I did not serve in the military. I served the people fighting wars in the 60s, like many of the people here and their children. Your parents probably did. But I have to tell you, as a gay elder, I am so proud that children today are growing up who are gay and lesbian, bisexual and transgender, who have the courage to say what Bradley Manning did. That is the kind of world that we fought for.
I have no question that Bradley Manning showing the courage of one person standing up and telling the truth is one of the reasons we're seeing revolts around the world. He is leading us by example, and all of those involved in the Occupy, we are all leading by example. We're all leading by example. We're getting out there. We're telling the truth. We're not going to be frightened by police who abuse us. We're not going to be frightened by media that doesn't cover us or miscovers us. We're going to get the truth out. We're going to get the truth out. We're going to change the direction of this country. We're going to shift power from corporate rule to people rule, from money rule to people rule. And that's where we're headed, and we're not going to turn back. We are just at the beginning of this path. We're just at the beginning of the path, and we're going to walk arm in arm with Bradley Manning along this route. Because Bradley Manning is one of us. He is one of the 99%. He's one we're going to defend, and anyone else who is with us, we will show this same kind of support. We are all in this together. We're all in this in unity. We're all in this in solidarity. Solidarity is what's going to get us through this. We know the people can rule better than the elites. The economic and political elites have led this country off a cliff. They've left us off an economic cliff of corruption and greed, and a into wars that can't end, that just refuse to end, the long wars that they expect to last for all of our lives. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let it happen. They're letting us go into an environment where it's degraded and threatening the existence of this country, of this world. Climate change is real and it's being ignored. Issue after issue, ignored, lies told about it. Our job is to get out the truth. And the truth will get people educated, organized, and mobilized. We've already had an impact, folks. We've already had an impact. Frank Lutz, Republican pollster, says this movement scares him to death. President Obama, surrounded by his Wall Street advisors, now is trying to sound like an occupier. We are having an effect. And let me tell you something, when this winter's over, the American spring is going to be transformative. It's going to be transformative. You know what's going to be happening in the American Spring? Not only are we all coming to Washington, D.C., we're going to occupy that city in ways that people are not going to believe ever could exist. Ray McGovern, the fear they have of us surrounding the Capitol is going to become a reality. It's going to become a reality. You think the Madison Capitol is occupied? Wait till you see what happens in Washington, D.C. We're going to be occupying this country in a serious way. What else is happening in the spring? Bradley Manning's trial. Bradley Manning's trial will be happening while this uprising is occurring. That coincidence is going to be historic, folks, and we're all going to be part of it. Thank you all for being here today. We are just beginning. We are just beginning. Peace to all.
Free Bradley Manning! Free Bradley Manning! Free Bradley Manning!
Free Bradley Manning! Free Bradley Manning!
All right.